From Sugar House in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, this is Poker Night in America. Hello and welcome to Poker Night in America. I'm Chris Hansen alongside Slick Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. We're at Sugar House in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, a concept not exactly embraced by Philly sports fans.
I can vouch for that comment. I have been there. Well, what Joe means to say is that tonight here, the gloves are off at Sugar House as Brandon Adams and Dan Coleman prepared to enter the gauntlet for Game 2 of their best-of-3 series. Coleman already leads 1-0.
Only one will leave King of the Hill 3 with the belt and the $200,000. The other will be traveling a bit lighter.
Yeah, like $50K lighter. Anyways, without any further ado, it's time to head to the table for game number 2.
Welcome back once again to Dan Coleman playing against his mom's new boyfriend for who gets to wear the pants around the house and who gets to hold him up with that giant belt.
Both players starting with $100,000. This is our second game. That's the best of 3.
It's a must-win for Brandon Adams. He's already down 1-0.
Our first flop is 3 deuce 8, all diamonds.
Flush draw for Coleman, who's already ahead with queen high.
King of diamonds gives Dan Coleman a flush on the turn.
Check, check.
And river comes a 6.
Adams knows his hand won't be good at showdown very often, but checks anyway.
5 of diamonds?
Any diamond works. Any old diamond. A blue diamond almond would have been enough.
And Dan Coleman picks up where he left off, winning. I have noticed that Brandon Adams has added a new piece of jewelry for this second game. He's got looks like a diamond medallion in the shape of a dollar sign or something?
Yes, it was handed down to him by his great-great-grandfather.
No, it wasn't.
It was, in fact, on his deathbed, his great-great-grandfather's deathbed.
No.
Yes, 11? He died doing what he loved, handing out dollar sign medallions. We've got a bit of a pre-flop raising war happening here. Brandon Adams has a perfectly fine hand to call the 3-bet with in position.
And he's got a 49-cent tchotchke that he's wearing around his neck, so.
Wow, how insulting to his great-great-grandfather. You know, his great-great-grandfather's name was actually Robert Tchotchke.
Flop is 9 high, and looks like all kinds of draws here, but not really.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a straight for Coleman, right?
No. Missing some pretty integral parts there.
Pretty sure it's a straight. Look, even Dan Coleman thinks he has a straight.
He's betting 9,000.
Jack high is ahead. Technically. This is a big bet to call, though, at no pair and no real draw.
And so that one will go to the muck.
Really liking Dan Coleman's Assassin's Creed hoodie. It's perfect for playing poker or diving into a cart full of hay.
Well, it would be good if Dan Coleman could somehow be our king of the hill because, I mean, literally he hasn't won anything in like 18 minutes. So it'd be nice for him to, keep the confidence up.
It has been a hot minute. And what better way to go than his mentor, Olivier Bousquet, who he defeated to get to the finals here. Olivier won it last year. How cool would that be if Dan Coleman won it this year? Coleman's limped in. Adams with the computer hand, queen 7. I'm gonna talk like a computer.
Please,
I'm a computer.
Please
it's
don't.
the computer hand.
Don't do that. Flop is ace high. Pair of deuces for Dan Coleman. Check, check.
Coleman's also got a gut shot to go with his bottom pair.
And then you check to the river, which is a queen, and now that gives Adams the lead.
Adams does have the lead, but with how the action's gone, I'm not sure he'll get paid. Oh, the deuce will make you loose. Her name is Lauren. It means queen. Mine's 500, 1,000. Dan Coleman raising 3x with king 4 suited.
Adams calls with Jack 7. Okay. These two only separated by 10,000 in chips, so still very early on in this second game of best of 3.
And it's 2 pair for Dan Coleman. Twoper. It's Twoper Tuesday here on WPNIA. 22 minutes to the top of the hour, and it's traffic and weather on the 11s. Do you say that on the radio?
No.
You said currently 71 degrees, and we'll be back after this Twoper Tuesday with a quadruple rock block of AC/DC.
I don't think anyone says that in the radio business.
Well, it's still two per Tuesday.
It was 2 per, but it's not Tuesday. But whatever.
Back after this quadruple rock block.
Seems like Adams has shifted into a lower gear, which may be exactly what he needs to try to do to solve his Dan Coleman dilemma.
King of the Hill 3 continues when we return from this brief commercial break.
How would you like to play against the pros on national TV? Download now to play and win. It's absolutely free to play.
Welcome back to Sugar House in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've said this time and again, Dan Coleman has the chip lead over his opponent.
Yeah, that's right. Coleman is just a game away from taking the belt and the cash. And for Brandon Adams, he's just got to find a way to steal this game to try to get to a game 3. You can't see it, but stashed away in that belt, all a Mexican drug mule. You could put $200,000 in there. I know you can't see because it's behind the belt. You get the belt and $200,000. That's where the money is, right?
I thought you were going to say Mexican wrestler, which would have made a lot more sense.
No. See, this is part of the disguise. You see,
okay.
I'm the mule.
Right. No one will ever check behind your belt at airport security. It's not like you have to take those off.
Okay, fine. I'm no Clint Eastwood. Fine.
So deuces against A4 here. And I know what they say, but it seems like deuces kind of actually loses quite a bit.
Well, they get out flopped quite regularly.
Yeah.
You checked it all the way down to the river.
And Coleman's going to win with his pair of 8s. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I watch these two play for the banter. Or even, you know what? I'd settle for eye contact.
Are you saying here?
Yeah.
And there it is.
Wow.
Oh, my God. That's the banter we were all waiting
Wow,
for.
you can, these two are really getting chatty.
Chris, you going to have dinner later?
Yeah.
Adams raises, king 4 suited. Coleman calls, 6-5.
Flop is deuce, 10, queen. 2 diamonds, that is, puts together a nice draw for Mr. Adams.
What are your thoughts on Ivy losing that case?
Seems bad.
Yeah, right?
Seems bad, yeah. But it's unlikely you're going to win on appeal like that, right? Like, they had already decided.
Yeah.
Isn't that the situation? That it was an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to overturn something like that.
Yeah, but I guess like the Supreme Court, the final appeal that you go to with the Supreme Court is like a 40% overturn rate.
For those of you who don't know, the Supreme Court is the one with tomatoes and sour cream.
2% of cases or something, you know?
And leave it to poker players to know the percentages of overturn rates. Always trying to find the angles.
Well, you have to overturn it because that's how you get it brown on both sides.
Does the funny ever start? All right, we got a 10K pot brewing here.
Top pair for Coleman. $6K the bet. Seems like a pretty easy spot for a just call, and it is.
King on the turn.
The king is often a card Adams will keep firing on.
And it looks like 16,000 is going to be the bet.
And Dan's pretty likely to know that Adams is going to fire this king whether he's got it or not. So, yep, we're going to see another call. This pot's getting kind of big. More than half a starting stack in the middle.
See what happens on the river. It's a deuce.
So there's not a ton Adams can rep here. Running clubs did come in.
Now, the only thing he could do is maybe bet and hope that Coleman believes that he had a king in his hand.
At a 10?
Neither one of them are going to bet. So it's check, check the river, and Dan Coleman is going to stretch out his lead.
Big pot coming Coleman's way. Put a little mustard on it. Coleman's mustard.
So Stapes, is that a new t-shirt?
Yep.
Adams on the button in the small blind. Raising with 6 deuce of clubs. Speedy call from Dan Coleman.
They are keeping it pacey, I'll give them that. It's almost as if they have better things to do.
Ace, 6, queen.
Check, check.
5 on the turn. Coleman now up and down.
Playing heads up is kind of like ultimate Texas Hold'em. You got a pair, you're probably good. Just get to showdown. Coleman betting his up and down draw.
Adams obliges and makes the call.
Yep. Like I said, just wants to get to showdown with that pair of 6s.
And Coleman makes a straight on the river. There hasn't been this much luck in Philadelphia since Nick Foles. It's a sports thing, Joe. It works, trust me.
28.
And now a big old juicy bomber bet here on the river from Dan Coleman.
And remember how I said Brandon Adams was intent on getting to a cheap showdown? Well, he got to showdown, but it is not cheap. This is a massive overbet. Can Brandon Adams make the call where there's tons of hands that are beating him that could profitably value bet this river?
And Adams does make the call. Oh my gosh. This pot worth $70,000. Yikes.
And that is going to put Dan Coleman way out in front. Up 1 game to 0. Brandon Adams is in big, big trouble. Timing is everything in this game, and right now, Brandon Adams is not in sync with this poker universe.
Sometimes it be like that. We'll be right back. Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by Poker Night in America. Welcome back to Poker Night in America presents King of the Hill 3.
That's a trilogy, baby. Let's get back to the table where Dan Coleman is holding a 7-1 chip lead and is very close to capturing the title.
$200,000 goes to the winner here tonight, Brandon Adams. In a tough spot, he's down to $25,000. He's already down in this best of 3, 1-0.
And blinds are at 600, 1,200, which means we are going to see Brandon Adams all in for his fewer than 20 big blinds very soon.
He raises here with suited 8-3.
You don't have any oranges, right?
Oranges, what does he think? This is halftime at a kid's soccer game?
And Adams just blew off 3,800 of his 25,000 right there.
No, we don't have any oranges. Have Red Bull like a grown-up.
Yep.
Dan Coleman going to the hand sanitizer. Don't see that much.
You don't see it enough.
Valid point.
Coleman limping him with 5s. Adams with a free look at the flop with King 8.
Check.
Everywhere you look,
15 back
everywhere you look,
And I'll
there's a
take a while.
four, there's a four. This is my Full House song. What'd you think?
Cut it out.
Do me da 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 wow. Oh, it's another Full House. Have mercy. This one's even better.
Adam surprisingly not drawing dead, but okay, now he's officially dead.
I suppose Coleman has to bet here, but what in the world can he get called by that didn't raise pre-flop? Bye. I feel like I should button this with one more Full House reference, but you already did cut it out.
Yeah. Dan Coleman stretching out his lead. Have mercy.
I did that one.
You already did that one?
Yeah.
God, I'm all out of references.
And Dan Coleman waking up with the Kimmy Gibbler, 7-3 of hearts. And I'm done. We're going heads up to the flop. Can you believe it?
4-3-10 is the flop.
Bottom pair for Coleman. Big draws here for Adams. Up and down. Second nut flush. Pairs are live as well. Well, sort of. The 6 would make it straight for Coleman. Doesn't matter. The bet gets Coleman to fold.
Well, it doesn't matter how big the pots are. Brandon Adams has to just keep winning them.
Wow, Brandon Adams, just over 10 big blinds. Dan Coleman not putting a ton of pressure on, limping in with 10-8.
And a check from Adams. Three, 10, 4, the flop. That gives Adams a pair of 3s, but Dan Coleman outflopped him with a pair of 10s.
And Adams is not going to have many chips left behind at all when he makes his call. And picks up a straight draw to go with his pair.
He checks, hoping that he can maybe see that river card for free.
I don't think Dan is going to let that happen. And I don't think we'll be seeing Adams call again either.
3,000 is the bet. No. A pair and a draw might be too much for Adams to not call here.
He does call, leaving himself very, very few chips behind. Like I said, what do you do when you miss? Adams checks.
And really no reason for Dan Coleman to bet here on the river. Your opponent's already extremely short stacked. If he wins, you just kind of keep him there.
All in.
There's the all-in.
Wow.
Now, on the one hand, Brandon's super committed to this pot. On the other hand, making a pot-committed call doesn't do you much good if it's for your last chips and then you're out.
You bet so fast, and I don't know what that means on the flop.
If Adams calls, it's over.
I call.
It is over. Dan Coleman, the winner
I just had hand after hand.
of King of... You guys, what? I told you before you can't have the Dan Coleman stand-in right in the same shot as the real Dan Coleman. What? Come on. Guys, come on. This is amateur hour. What are you doing?
Poker's easy when you just have a hand every time. Every big pot we played.
Well, get ready to wrap the belt around the waist of Dan Coleman. He is the king of the hill, third event winner, and along with that belt, man, $200,000. Was there ever any doubt? A big congrats to Dan Coleman, our king of the hill champ here at Sugar House. We will be right back.
How would you like to play against the pros on national TV? Download now to play and win. It's absolutely free to play.
Welcome back to Poker Night in America presents King of the Hill 3.
I might typically say congratulations to our runner-up, but in this case, Brandon Adams won nothing, so it's actually just condolences. And not to discredit any of Coleman's flawless play, he certainly ran well and pure. Sometimes the cards provide a smooth road to victory, as we saw today.
For everyone here at Poker Night in America, including Joe Stapleton and me, Chris Hansen, we'll see you next time on Poker Night in America.
Hey, if you like this video from season whatever from Poker Night in America, there are at least 41 other seasons, and we've got every episode here on our page at your disposal. Go to town, but make sure you hit like and subscribe.